Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome to Primetime local news on this historic day. Cannabis is officially legal all across the country, and we're going to toss it over to Elise and Brittany to find out what that means for us here in the border city.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michaela. Although, yes, it is officially legal, there are still a lot of questions of what this change entails. So, Brittany, can you tell us what you know right now?
So like we all know, cannabis is now legal across Canada. However, the age that you can use cannabis changes depending on the province. So it is the same as alcohol. In Saskatchewan, you do need to be 19 years of age, and in Alberta, 18 years of age to purchase and consume cannabis. I'm outside House of Hybrids right now. They're behind me. It's going to be a local dispensary that's going to be open up, but right now in the border city, there actually isn't any cannabis shops that are officially open. There are some in both Alberta and Saskatchewan that were able to open up today. Our closest one here in Lloydminster is located in North Battleford, just a short drive away. As well, cannabis can be purchased online and ordered to your home. The city of Lloydminster has also received a number of applications. There will be 2 shops opening up on the Saskatchewan side as it is regulated, and on the Alberta side they've had over half a dozen. So we'll see when they end up opening up a little bit later on in the show.
And if someone wants to consume cannabis legally in the border city, where can they do that?
So there is some restrictions on where you can smoke cannabis. It can't be used in any public place, not in parks or on streets. It has to be on your private property. So it can be in your home, it can be outside in your yard, but not during any public events, as it could be subject to penalties from the RCMP. You can also have it in your vehicle as long as it is sealed and you do have proof of purchase, but you cannot smoke it while driving, as that would be an impairment. We're going to have more coming up later on in the show. We're going to be speaking to one of the owners from House of Hybrids, finding out when cannabis will be available here in Lloydminster to residents. As well, we're going to be checking in with Sergeant Sarah Knelson, finding out some of the hard facts and misconceptions that we've had with cannabis thus far on the first day of legalization. So thanks so much, and we're going to head back over to the studio and check in with Elise to find out what else is going on in our local news.
A Northwest Terminal in Unity, Saskatchewan is back to business after a morning fire early last week. A blaze was reported in the grain dryer at approximately 7:20 a.m. last Thursday. The terminal has been operational since Monday, minus the grain dryer, but plans to have a temporary dryer in place for the farmers for the coming weeks.
Gratitude and thanks to the local fire departments and specifically the local Unity department and the chief. They were able to deal with the blaze and certainly received a lot of offers and help from local farmers and customers and other businesses in the area, so we're very appreciative of that.
Skinner says the grain dryer is designed to keep a fire inside of it and stop operating if set ablaze. The cause of the fire remains unknown. And big changes coming out of the Lloydminster City Council this week. The Lloydminster Fire Department has not had a review of their services in almost 80 years. And as Brittany Matika explains, with our growing population, the department is looking to increase response times by hiring full-time firefighters.
The city has approved an interim strategy to improve the fire department's response times in Lloydminster, hiring on 11 full-time firefighters and doing an external operation review of the department. Lloydminster is one of the largest cities in Canada still operating under an on-call fire department system. Mayor Albers says the last review was done in the 1940s.
This was something that's come forward through the process, and it's the first step. Is it the last step? It may be, or it may not be, and I think that's where the review of $50,000 that's council's put towards having someone come in and do an external review.
Fire Chief Jordan Newton says the new model will allow the department to increase response times by as much as 5 minutes per call.
Over the years, the community has grown in leaps and bounds, and it has outstripped the ability for the current operating model to continue. And that is why Council has chosen to invest in a new fire protection model.
The interim model does come at an expense to taxpayers. Having 11 full-time firefighters increases the department's expenditures by $1 million for 2019. Revenues will also have the ability to increase as the department will be able to make more claims for things like false alarms.
You know, most people will have the proper fire insurance on their house to absorb a bill on something like that. You know, SGI pays a prescribed rate for every single vehicle fire you go to. So yes, there's definitely revenue streams we can tap into.
I don't like having to spend an extra $1 million on something like that, but at the same time, you need to provide that high level of service and that high level of safety.
Fire Chief Newton says they have not determined a hiring process yet for the full-time positions, but that they will be in place at Station Number 1 sometime in December. Brittany Matika, Primetime Local News.
All right, well, we broke some records today here in the border city, officially reaching a daytime high of 21 degrees, and that crushed our previous record from 1986. We saw 17 degrees, so we were even above that, and then minus 15 back in 1992. We are currently sitting at 19 degrees here in the border city. Beautiful day. I was out in tank tops and flip-flops all day. It was great to see. Nothing really, no activity on our satellite radar, just a little bit of clouds in and out of the area, and no watches and warnings as we are well above the seasonal averages, which is great news for our farmers trying to get the grain in the bin for this time of the year. It's been a devastating harvest season, so hopefully this week will allow those farmers to catch up. Numbers across the region: 19 here, 24 degrees in Edmonton, 21 in Edson, 19 degrees in Jasper, 22 in Whitecourt, and that's the same in Athabasca. Really, really warm temperatures. As we look over to the Saskatchewan side, 21 in North Battleford, 20 in Saskatoon, 15 in Melfort, 19 degrees in Prince Albert. So all of these numbers across the region are breaking records and also way above our averages for this time of the year. North Battleford also broke their record for this day, 21 degrees. They're currently gonna dip down quite significantly, losing 20 degrees overnight to an overnight high of only 1 degree. And then tomorrow, not quite as warm as we were seeing today, a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 15 degrees. Cold Lake didn't break a record today, but they are sitting at 21 degrees currently. Overnight dipping down to 3 degrees, and tomorrow a high of 13 with a mix of sun and cloud. And then Lloydminster, we're going to dip down to 3 degrees overnight and a high of 15 tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. And then Friday, we're going to go down in the numbers. 9 degrees though, lots of sunshine. And then Saturday, warming back up into the double digits, 12 degrees and then -1 for the low. Averages for this time of the year are 11 degrees, so we were 10 degrees above the average. I'll have more details, including your 7-day forecast, coming up a little bit later in the show.
Welcome back. Well, it's just an old hole in the ground, right? No worries. Well, maybe not. Gerard Lampow finds out the right way to safely deal with abandoned water wells.
About 3 years ago, my well started to give me problems. I think it was about the time when I made a rink for my boys.
Aaron Agar farms with his family east of Unity. He was at a Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities meeting when he heard about the program to decommission wells. Robin Fleesick, who ranches in Neilburg, encourages producers to decommission their wells properly.
Nobody cares more about the environment, it feels like, than farmers and ranchers, but it's important that they understand the reason why we take these steps to fill them in properly.
So what you're looking at is a well decommissioning. The new well was put in place a few months ago, and now the old well is being reclaimed, and funding for this is available through the Canadian Agriculture Partnership.
Through the CAP program, if you're an agriculture producer and you have $50,000 in gross farm income, and there's other requirements too, you have to have a premise ID if you have livestock. You can apply to the program to get 90% of your eligible costs back.
Smith says that includes the contractor, the bentonite, gravel and clay. She helps producers get to know about the Farm and Ranch Water Infrastructure Program and the Farm Stewardship Program. It's not good to just put topsoil down the old water well. This could contaminate the groundwater below. Covering abandoned wells keeps our family, pets and livestock safe.
In order to properly decommission a well, we use bentonite, which is it's a chip, and when it forms with water, it provides like a cement, so it doesn't allow any contaminants to get through it. So we use bentonite in the bottom of the well, and then we use layers of gravel and bentonite.
The materials are layered in, the old casing is cut off, and the hole filled in completely. Smith assists producers in getting the paperwork done. Just don't start before eligibility is confirmed.
We come out to your farm and help you fill out the pre-approval worksheets, which we have to measure the well and measure how much water is in there, and then we fill out the worksheets and then get it approved.
The project can take upwards of 2 hours depending on the size of the well. The homeowner can add clay, topsoil, and grass so the area is totally restored.
As a ranch mom, I sure don't want a hole around my yard.
Gerard Lampow, Primetime Local News.
That's it for agriculture. We're going to head over to sports, but first we're going to take a look at your egg prices.
City Center Auto Body is proud to offer the paintless dent removal system. This works by going behind the panel, working out small dents. Lloydminster's trusted auto body shop for over 35 years.
Switching over to sports now, there was a lot of excitement heading into Hockey Hooky Day, and while the students in attendance were entertained, Bobcats fans had a lot less fun in an 8-3 loss to Sherwood Park. From the game's early minutes, sloppy turnovers and lapses in coverage plagued the Cats, who quickly spotted the Crusaders a 3-goal lead. Though they cut the deficit to 2 late in the first, the series of the fights provided the rest of the game's excitement. This drops Lloydminster's record to 3-7-1. And the Wrestlers men's volleyball team had their ideal start in sweeping the Grand Prairie Wolves over the weekend. Now the squad hopes to use Friday's home opener to build a winning streak. Josh Ryan has more.
Despite starting the season on the road, the Rustlers looked fairly comfortable in their 2 wins against the Wolves. A solid first contact, timely hitting, and chemistry that they've lacked at times in the past.
I haven't seen kind of that togetherness and that kind of willingness to let each other's egos go and play as a team yet this year, which was awesome to see.
A big part of the on-court success is outside hitter Alexei Walliser. After spending most of last season on the bench, the third year from Peace River has become the team's main offensive option, a development which he credits to older teammates for their mentorship last year.
Kind of telling me that, you know, you have the potential to be there, and like, I don't know, it kept me like hungry, and like I worked my butt off all summer. I feel like I'm becoming like a more versatile attacker, and so hopefully I can continue to build onto that.
Friday's home opener pits Lakeland against the Nate Ooks, a tall, physical team that has championship aspirations. That means the Rustlers' identity of strong ball control becomes even more important.
Our #1 priority is make sure our first contact's good and then build from there.
If we can put pressure on them from our baseline and just can keep rallies going and wait for them to make the mistake, I think good things will happen for us.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
And now we're going to head back to Brittany, who is at House of Hybrids today.
I'm inside House of Hybrids. It's going to be one of the first dispensaries that's going to be open up here in Lloydminster. I'm joined by Philip Sweers right now, who is one of the owners that's invested in opening up one of the first cannabis retail shops. So tell me, when will we be open for business here in Lloydminster?
Well, we're hoping to be open within 2 weeks to 1 month from now. So end of the month here would be prime for us, yeah.
And now there has been a bit of a delay in getting opening just because there is a fair amount of paperwork that has to get done in licensing.
Right. Yeah, so basically the process for us started end of March-ish. You have to send in a bunch of information to the AJLC regarding all your financials with previous businesses and personal information as well. So there's definitely a big screening process. They hire a private investigator to look into all the business owners in town and around Alberta. And we were lucky enough to get through the process.
And now, why did you yourself want to invest in a cannabis retail store?
For us, first and foremost, I guess it would be a business opportunity that we saw over the years, knowing that legalization was coming out. And from there, it was more a matter of we feel like we are the best suited people to be bringing something like this to a small community in Lloydminster. We're heavily involved in the community and just want the process to go properly the way it should be, the way it's meant to go.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing that information with us. We are going to have more coming up from House of Hybrids a little bit later on in the show, but right now we're going to head back over to the studio and check in with Michaela to find out what's going on in the rest of this week's forecast.
Thank you so much, Brittany. We broke a record here in the border city today, officially reaching a daytime high of 21 degrees, which broke our previous record of 17 degrees back in 1986. So great day all around. Look at this beautiful shot over at Bud Miller Park. This was sent to us by Cody, so thank you so much for sending that in. Looking at our numbers, we have dropped a couple of degrees, currently sitting at 19 here in the border city, and that's the same story in Vermilion. Warmer as we move out west, 22 in Vegreville, 24 degrees in Edmonton. And then over on the Saskatchewan side, 23 degrees in Macklin, one of the warmer spots in the province there. 21 in North Battleford, 19 in Maidstone, and then 17 in St. Walburg. So much higher than our seasonal averages for this time of the year. As we go down, up north, 13 in La Ronge, 3 degrees in Flin Flon, quite the contrast there. 4 degrees in South Bend, and then over on the Alberta side, very warm numbers once again. 18 in Grand Prairie, 19 in Peace River, and 19 degrees in Slave Lake. And as we move south, in the 20s there, 23 in Medicine Hat, and that's the same story in Lethbridge, 21 in Calgary, 17 in Banff, and then over on the Saskatchewan side, 21 in Swift Current, 21 degrees in Moose Jaw, and 17 in Estevan. As we look to our numbers for tomorrow, not quite as high as we were seeing today, but we're going to see a daytime high of 14 tomorrow, 15 in North Battleford, 16 in Macklin, and that's also in Provost. And then as we move west, 14 degrees in Edmonton, 13 degrees in St. Walburg. For the kids heading off to school, you don't need to bundle up once again, which is nice. 4 degrees at 8 a.m., 7 degrees around recess time. The cloud is going to dissipate over the lunch hour, reaching a high of 11. And then 14 degrees when the kids head home on the bus there. And then looking to our 7-day forecast, Thursday, a high of 14 degrees, partly cloudy, 3 degrees for the low. Friday rather, sunshine out in full force, high of 9 degrees, 0 for the low. Warming back up into the double digits on Saturday, a high of 12, -1 there. And then Sunday, a high of 11, sunshine all the way into Tuesday. We'll have 9 degrees on Monday, -2 for the low, so we will be dipping back underneath the freezing mark. Warming back up into the double digits next Tuesday, 11 degrees, and Wednesday, clouds are going to start to come back, and 40% chance of precipitation there, 9 degrees. But our averages for this time of the year are 11 degrees, and as you can see there, pretty much on or above the averages for most of our 7-day trend there. And that's been a look at your 7-day forecast.
Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
We're at House of Hybrids, and now Philip is going to take us through a walkthrough of what happens when you enter a a cannabis retail store.
Right, so when the customer first comes in, the first thing that will happen is they'll have their ID checked. We're supposed to be IDing everyone under the age of 25. Obviously, legal age is 18 years of age. From there, once everything's been verified, they are able to come through the second set of doors, which will take us into the retail sales area. Now, obviously, depending on how busy we are, hopefully more busy than not, we'll have an area over here where you can sit and view on floating iPads the different products that we offer, as well as some educational literature so that anyone coming in that's brand new or has never tried anything like that, gives them an opportunity to peruse a little bit. Then from there, if they do decide that they want to talk to a bud tender, then we would take them over to the retail section over here where the point of sale systems are.
Let's take them over and have a look and see what you would see if you are to approach a counter at a cannabis retail stop. So there would be a bud tender standing here, and then you would be able to view product in one of these.
Right, so these are what's called a sniff jar. What this allows us to do, because all the products that come from the AGLC will become to us in properly packaged and labeled forms. There is no open cannabis allowed in the stores. So what this sniff jar allows us to do is we can pop the top off, which allows the customer to smell, get the smell, the terpenes from the product, as well as a magnifying glass, which will show the trichromes and just give the person a better idea of the product that they're looking to purchase.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing all that information with us and taking us through that experience, as this is a first all across Canada. People are able to enter now cannabis retail stores and purchase cannabis for the first time today, and hopefully soon in the border city.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Perfect. Right now we're going to head back over to the studio and check in with them.
All right, well, today's question of the day obviously was all about cannabis, as that seems to be what everyone's talking about. So we just straight up wanted to know, will you be consuming cannabis now that it is legal? And to my surprise, an overwhelming response said no. On our poll, 76% of you said no, 6% said undecided, and 18% said yes, they will be consuming cannabis legally. Are you surprised? I'm surprised by these numbers.
I don't know if I'm surprised or not. I think it's just, I don't know. If you weren't before, then I don't know.
Yeah, and actually,
it's not a big thing then, I guess.
I feel like, yeah, it's a lot for the people who are already consuming cannabis.
Right, yes.
A few of the comments we got on Facebook, nope, never have, never will, not looking forward to dealing with the smell more often now that it's legal. And someone else, David, on our Facebook page said, nope, can't control, or my job controls my life. I'm not allowed to do something that is 100% legal, even on my day offs, because apparently it will impact my work for 30 days after I consume. And he says he works in the oil field. So a lot of people are still restricted to using cannabis, even though it is legal.
Right.
So I think a lot of people are either frustrated or even just happy about that. But you do still have time to weigh in on our question of the day on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Let us know your thoughts. Weigh in on our poll. We'd love to hear from you. But right now we're going to do our pet of the day segment, because it's the best part of the day every day. Look at this. This is Bishop. Bishop's a big boy. And this was sent to us by Debbie. It looks like Bishop was doing some camping this summer. And then next we have, oh, this is not Bishop. This is Kenna, and this was actually sent to us by another Debbie. We'll get that corrected there. Super cute. And then we have Maddie. Super cute cat, giving us a little bit of a Puss in Boots look, and that was sent to us by Tamara. And then next we have Charlie. Oh,
that could have even been today with the weather.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Charlie enjoying the pool. That was sent to us by Deanna. And then we have Duke and Nasita. They look like they're having a good cuddle, and that was sent to us by Justin. If you have a pet and you would like to see them here on Primetime Local News, make sure you send us a photo. Make sure you include their name, and if you do see them here, you will then be entered to win a gift card to Pet Pad.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Hey Lakeland, Justin Marshall from Cool 101.3 with a look at what's happening around the Lakeland and area. Today, we're at Grand Parlor here in Cold Lake, where the theater production starts tomorrow. It's called Inhabited, and I'm pleased to be joined with Teresa Pettit from Grand Parlor right now. What can people expect from this play?
To be scared.
that's our main motivation, is to scare people and to let them walk away thinking a little bit differently. That's what art's all about, right? So there are components of the show that are meant to scare you, that are meant to make you jump, and there are also components that make you think. While it's super easy to look at other people and say, oh, that's so evil, I would never do that, it's very different when your own actions are kept unchecked. And really the whole idea is...
What is going on here?
Oh.
Is that just rocking?
Yeah. Our cast thinks that this show is haunted because weird things have happened all around when we've been in rehearsals or when people are cleaning up after rehearsals. So it kind of has spilled over into our space. So if our actors are feeling it and they're the ones putting it on, then surely our audience is going to feel the spook as well.
Happening for the next 3 weekends. How do people get tickets?
grandparlor.ca, so going online, and of course contacting Bean Trees Cafe or Grand Parlor directly through Facebook, and we can guide you through that process if you need.
So it all starts tomorrow. Get your tickets now. And Therese, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
If you have an event you would like to feature on What's Happening, please email Justin at 1013coolfm.com.